So for a long time as a beginner, I mean, I wasn't squatting. I did not squat in my first formative years, very often at least, because I would squat, but I would squat with a very wide stance, flat-footed, and something about that setup, it really fucking hurt my knees. So, of course, at the time I wasn't so smart lifting wise. So instead of thinking, okay, I should probably change the way that I'm squatting to be a little bit more, conducive with my own, biomechanics, because everyone has different like internal rotation of their hips and different knee angles and whatnot. So, for lifter a wide stance squat feels sweet. But for lifter B, a wide stance squat fucking destroys his knees. So I think it's worth taking a while and figuring out how to change it up for you. Just because squats, and I say this every leg day, and I'll probably say it every leg day in the future, squats are a different fucking animal when it comes to intensity of the lift. Now, Smith machine squats are cool too. Hack squats are cool. Pendulum squats are cool. The only reason I'm not doing any of those variations is because right now I don't have access to them. But still, I really don't think they compare to the barbell squat. I mean, just something about it. Just something about it, man. It's got the X factor of intensity, freak factor, and what's another cool word? Exertion ability. I don't know. Another thing too, is why I assume some of you probably aren't squatting, is because your lower back gives out before your quads do. So you almost feel like, now if this is you, that's who I'm talking to right now. But if you almost feel like the reason you can't do another rep on squats is because your lower back is hindering you, that's the weak point, then that's a situation where I think that you should, squat with your heels on a plate, squat elevated. I don't just do that for fun. I don't just throw down that 25-pound bumper plate to give my heels an extra, inch and a half, 2 inches of height for no reason. Having elevated heels lets me put my knees further in front of my toes, and that relates pretty directly with having a more upright posture. If you look at a fucking power lifter squat, that's almost the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do with my squats. That's where they seriously bend at the waist. And I mean, with some of the really funkier low bar dudes, like it looks like their torso is almost horizontal at the bottom and their shins are completely vertical. With a quad biased kind of bodybuilding squat, that's not how you're going to want to do it, right? I don't want to get any glute activation. I don't want to get any lower back activation, at least no more than I have to. So when I do those squats, I try to stay as upright as possible, even though I'm not doing like a high bar squat on my traps. I have to put them kind of in the middle of my traps and on top of my rear delts. So not like really low bar, but not high bar either, kind of a little bit of an in-between setup. But when I do those, I try to keep my torso as vertical as possible, such that all of the work, or at least most of the work, is being done by my quads.